Hello guys, I have a tool that I thought of sharing with you and it may be useful in some cases. It's called Curlftpfs. It helps mounting folders or the folders that are within the FTP servers on your local machine. So here is my terminal emulator. The left tab here has Curlftpfs installed, and the right tab is where I made my FTP server using Docker. I made a video about creating an FTP server using Docker. I will put it in the cards. The details about it are there. I'm gonna simply depend on such FTP server for this video. So Curlftpfs exists on almost any Linux or Unix based system. You should find it in the repositories if you do have a package manager on your Unix or Linux based system, or you may look for the way to install that piece of software. You can compile it as I guess. It's open source. It tells, here is the page, their page from SourceForge, and they have another page like right here. You can download it. I don't need to download it, even if it did. You can see here that it's for Linux, FreeBSD, NetBSD, and Mac. And this sounds like it is the source code. It's a small piece of software. I did install it on one of my machines, which is here in the right tab of my terminal emulator. Let's take a look on the source code. I don't know how to compile it. I'm not gonna do it for now. It may be like the make install or /configure make install method. I'm not sure. So I have my FTP server running here. Let's jump into the Arch wiki, which can be useful in many cases, even if you aren't installing the application on Arch itself. And even if you are not using Arch, it still can be useful for you. Arch suggests having fuse the kernel module running where you are running Curlftpfs. In my case, this left tab, sorry, I do have it running loaded, the kernel module. We can check by running lsmod grep fuse. It's there. Let's go back to the plain user. The Arch wiki is good for you for seeing all the possible options or very good examples for the uses of this piece of software. You can use it as a root user. You can add the mount point to your FS tab. I'm gonna do it, but not now. So let's mount simply. I have made a directory called FTP mount, cd FTP mount. You should make yours. In my case, I'm gonna rerun the command. Since make mkdir FTP mount. It's already there. You should run this command in order to make the directory where you would like to mount your FTP path or FTP server. So to mount using Curlftpfs, you run the command like this, Curlftpfs, and then you check the IP address of your server. In my case, it's 10.0.1.137. or the domain name. It doesn't necessarily need to be in your local area network like my case. It can be anywhere else as long as you have the credentials, the username and the password. and then the mount point, in my case FTP mount dash O user equals 1, and then the password, which are the examples that are given in the Docker container FTP server. Alright, so if we check mount to see what's mounted, we should find our curl FTP fs. If we wanna unmount, we can simply run the command unmount or fuser mount. Fuser mount, it should be somewhere. Yeah, fuser mount dash u, this command. Somehow I don't have it anyway. That's why I'm gonna use unmount. Umount, not unmount, sorry. Umount. It has always been umount anyway. Let's mount again. We should use fuser mount, which I don't have somehow. Fuser mount, and then we have FTP. I'm wrong when I thought it doesn't exist. It's there, maybe fuser mount 3. Sorry, it should be dash u, forgot it. Alright, so you can use umount and you can use fuser mount. You can hide your username and password of your FTP server in case you didn't want anyone to know what they are, simply by making a file called .netrc. Let's make it touch.net, or let me clear out to make it neater, and then touch.netrc, and then the syntax should be echo, or let's simply jump into it using nano or vim or whatever you would like to use here. .netrc machine, and then the IP address or the domain name for your file, for your server. Login 1 in my case, like the Docker container FTP server I made. Password 1 2 3 4. Save and exit. Chmod 600 .netrc curl ftpfs. We should make sure that it's reading the file, which is .netrc, and it should be under FTP mount. Alright, let's see if it's mounted. We specified the details like the username and everything in our FTP, in our netrc, like this. So we didn't specify the username and the password as you saw. And if we check the mounted things, we can find them here. This one, as you can see here. Alright, let's unmount -u FTP. Okay, and then we should try with the SSL encryption if it's possible. Clear curlftpfs 10.0.1.137 FTP dash mount dash O SSL comma user equals 1, and then the password 1 2 3 4. It says error. Yeah, probably we didn't set up our server with SSL that may need it. So let's ignore that since such option is possible by specifying this option, no verify peer. I'm not sure if it's gonna force the SSL encryption or not. It says here that there is an error, and then let's add the other one. Maybe both are needed at the same time. Otherwise, you may need to have SSL enabled on your server in case it fails in our example here. So enter. Yes, so it fails. If we remove this whole thing like this, it connects. So the encryption needs to be set up on our FTP server, not only the client. If you would like to have the FTP server automatically mounted at every boot, at every startup, you can do so by going to fstab as root. Of course, I'm gonna switch to root. Sorry. And then etc fstab. At the bottom or wherever you want, you add the line for let me copy and paste and make it matching with my situation. Yes, and then paste here. We should put it under home, my username, which is Ali, ftp-mount, and then here we change this with my IP address. In your case, you can use a domain name. Here the password 1234 and the user, which is 1. Save and exit. So we need here to restart the client. After restarting it, we will come back to see if it is automatically mounted on the client. I restarted the client and now I'm gonna connect into it and see if I still have my FTP mounted. Grab FTP. Yes, it is. LSBLK. It doesn't show off there. Where else can we check? CD. Oh yeah, DFH. And we can see that it is successfully mounted during the startup. Okay, so that was how you use Curlftpfs. I'm done in this video. Please subscribe, like, share and comment, and peace.